I had decided to work part-time all summer this year. I worked as a security guard at night and went straight to bed in the morning delivering newspapers. One day, an employee asked me. I asked him, "There's a building about 10 minutes down the street, and there's been a little anomaly. I'll put some color on your part-time job." So my friend and I agreed to go around with him. I will call my friend K from now on. At the time, I didn't think it was so strange. But now I think about it, it's still strange to pay for a part-time job in addition to the hourly wage. The anomaly was in a 5-story building that looked like it could be anything. The front door was locked. Of course, the back of the building was also locked. I unlocked the door and Kay and I went inside. There was nothing on the first floor, where we thought there was something wrong. We were told to go around to each floor, so one of us went around to each floor. One of my friends and I decided that one of us would go around each floor, and the other would wait in the elevator hall where we could see the emergency exit. Kay was to take the 5th floor and I was to take the 4th floor. The 5th floor is a normal office while Kay is looking around. I turned the knob to see if the emergency exit door was locked, but it did not open. I turned the knob, but it didn't open, as if it was locked. Kay said, "Everything is fine. We must have made a killing." I returned to the hall with a smile on my face. Next, it was my turn to look around on the 4th floor. I could not use the stairs, so I took the elevator to the 4th floor. There were cardboard boxes piled up in the hall, as if it was used as a warehouse. Just as I was about to go, I received a call from the company on my cell phone. There was only one antenna on the phone, and when I picked it up, thinking it might be bad, it immediately went dead. The display showed no signal. I went outside to call him back, and without thinking, I twisted the knob of the emergency exit and it opened. I decided to take the stairs since I was on the 5th floor and hadn't looked around for a fire escape. The 5th floor was clear. Back on the 4th floor, Kay laughed at me for being too cautious. On the 3rd floor, again, the emergency exit door seemed to be locked and would not open. The 2nd floor was also locked and would not open. When I arrived at the 1st floor, my cell phone rang again. There were 3 antennas up. "What's that?" I thought and went out, but an employee kept asking me about the antenna. I said, "It's normal." "What's wrong?" I asked him what was wrong, and he replied that he had received several calls to his company from a while ago using his cell phone number. And when I answered, all I heard was a buzzing noise. I answered and all I heard was a buzzing noise, so I asked him if something was wrong. "No, nothing. Isn't your friend's cell phone malfunctioning?" I said with a laugh. "If there's nothing wrong, it's fine." I was tired of taking the stairs to the 4th floor, so I pushed the button to go to the elevator. I was tired of taking the stairs to the 4th floor, so I pressed the up button to take the elevator. But the elevator never moved from the 4th floor. I thought Kay was playing a trick on me, so I had no choice but to take the stairs back to the 4th floor. I didn't see him in the elevator hall. When I looked at the elevator, it was on the 1st floor. I wondered if Kay was trying to surprise me and hiding somewhere. I thought so and looked around the 4th floor in case, but he was nowhere to be found. I wondered if he went to check the 3rd floor first. I called the elevator and got in, only to find that Kay's cell phone had fallen into the elevator. I thought, did Kay go home? I thought, did A's guy leave? I was tired, I was done, let's go home. At this point I remembered something important and felt weak. I had come to this place in the company's car, but I could drive a motorcycle, but I could not drive a car. I thought, I can't go home now, and went outside, but as I expected, the company car was not there. I had no choice but to walk back to the office. That day, Kay went back to the office without me and quit his job. The company staff told me that I could go home now. I felt something unexplainable, but since the extra income was given to me on the spot, I ended up thinking, well, that's okay. When I was putting away my uniform, I remembered that I had forgotten to return Kei's cell phone, in my pocket. I forgot, or rather, I didn't see her. I thought, Kei doesn't have a phone at home, so how hard can it be without a cell phone? I thought, what the heck? I went to Kei's house after delivering the newspaper to deliver it to him. Kei's house was in front of the stairs on the second floor of a rather shabby apartment. I pressed the chime, hoping it was okay that he was sleeping, but there was no sign of him coming out. I thought it would disturb the neighbors if I pressed the doorbell too many times, so I went home and went to bed, thinking I would come back later in the evening. I was woken up by an electronic noise. I looked at my watch and saw that it was 7:30 a.m. It was Kei's cell phone ringing. I had no choice but to answer, and it was Kei's mother on the other end of the line. I went to Kei's apartment again. When I pressed the doorbell, Kei's mother answered the door. Through the door, I caught a glimpse of the inside of Kei's room, which was covered with a strange patterned wallpaper. I was going to give her my phone and just leave, but she said she heard someone coming up the stairs. I was going to give her my phone and leave, but when I heard someone coming up the stairs, Kei's mother let me in and closed the door behind her. When I went in, I think my face was blue. It wasn't that funny patterned wallpaper, was wallpaper. It was because it was such a mark that I kept scratching the wallpaper, even though my fingers were bleeding. It was all over the wall. Kei's mother said, "You'll have to paint it." A's mother laughed as she scrubbed with a rag. According to his mother, Kei called mother to tell her that he had killed someone on that job. She said she called A's mother and told her that A had killed a man on the job, but the call was cut off in the middle with a shout. After that, she called his mother again and again, but the conversation was still in progress. She borrowed a phone from the caretaker and called Kei's cell phone. I picked up the phone. Unfortunately, both sides of Kei's room were not at home, so I didn't know what happened inside. The other day, I received a phone call from Kei and we decided to meet. He looked like a different person. I even doubted if it was really Kei until he spoke. After Kei called me, his mother called me and said, "What did Kei say to you?" She told me that no matter what Kei said to you, it was all because he was tired and it was just a hallucination. Tell me that everything Kei says to you is just a hallucination. I was prepared for Kei to say something unusual. The story he told me is: that day, I talked to Kei on the 4th floor, and as I was heading down the stairs, the elevator went down to the 1st floor. Kei thought I was going to dash down the stairs and take the elevator up to surprise him. He thought I was going to dash down the stairs and come up in the elevator to surprise him, so he decided to surprise me in the opposite way. Then I was standing in front of the elevator with my back to the door. I heard the elevator open and felt someone approaching slowly to Kei. But then I heard the emergency exit door open. Kei turned around and thought, "What is that?" I turned around, but all he could see was the emergency exit door closing. No way. Kei thought, and rushed to open the emergency exit door. Then the door hit something. When he looked with his flashlight, he saw a woman with long hair lying on the floor. Moreover, the woman's body was lying on her face, but her head was almost facing up. Kei got scared and ran into the elevator, and from inside it, he called his mother. He said, "I killed a man." At that moment, the elevator door suddenly opened. There was a woman with her head bent in a weird direction, crawling on the floor. The elevator door closed, but the woman's arm got in the way and she went back. He said this happened several times. Then the woman stood up and turned her bent head toward Kei. She said,
"I'll remember."
Kei pushed her away. The elevator then went to the 1st floor. As I was pressing the button on the 1st floor, Kei ran away to his office. I heard that he suddenly left the company and rushed home on his motorcycle. He said that even if he stayed in his room, the woman would come to him. He couldn't get the thought out of his head and ran out of the room, without even locking the door. Kei later asked the resident below, What were you doing rattling around until morning? When he told me, he thought that the woman had come. Hearing that story made me break out in a nasty sweat. From what the resident downstairs told me, she was in his room when I went to Kei's room, right? The front door was unlocked. If this were a suspense drama, I would definitely open the door. If I had really done that, I might have seen Soul. Kei has now left that apartment and moved to a different place. I don't know if the company that said they would put extra income on me knew about this or not. It is hard to tell. My conclusion. Always wait for the elevator facing forward. Open doors slowly. Do not try to open the door of someone's house at any time. But, if it wasn't a human being, it might not matter what you do in the end. What guarantee do you have that you won't be hit by it when you open the door there? This concludes this story. Thank you for listening to the end.